breaking news tonight. CBS 8 News just back now from the scene of a shooting on East Shirley Lane in Montgomery. We just got some video into our newsroom. In the last 9 months, the jail has lost 12 officers, most of them retired. Now they're still trying to make up for them and then some. But in the meantime, the shortage is putting a major strain on the budget. Behind this freshly shattered store window was once one of the most prominent stores in town. Well, it's been exactly 13 years since Sylacauga man Billy Jack Gaither was brutally murdered because he was gay. Today, gay rights activists rallied to honor him and all victims of violence. Hannah comes back to this spot and sees nothing. She still is amazed that she survived the tornado. The fire likely started in the kitchen, the room right next to where the baby was sleeping. Newt is pulling out of Montgomery now, but since Super Tuesday, he has revised his strategy, spending an extra 3 days between Alabama and Mississippi. There are some possible changes that will be coming. We'll discuss that when they do come up in the legislature. Jeff? He described what he saw. When he arrived, one of the garbage men was carrying the dog from where he was shot. Covering campaign 2012 tonight. Mitt Romney is in Michigan trying to sell his economic plan to voters, even for some of the state's hardest hit people. The economy isn't the only factor in their vote. Montgomery's own Octavia Spencer was pegged to win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, and she didn't disappoint. CBS 8's Heather Backlav just got back from a local Oscar party. She joins us now with the big story on CBS 8 News Weekend at 10. We definitely congratulate her. Very proud of her win, bringing it out to her hometown. Octavia Spencer is the first Alabama native to earn an Oscar since Louise Fletcher did it for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest back in 1976. Now, the Oscars still are going on tonight, but we'll be able to show you Spencer's emotional acceptance speech and the crowd's reaction tomorrow. On CBS 8 this morning, she said thank you to her Alabama family. Well, in other news tonight, 2 teenagers have been arrested after a man was shot multiple times Saturday night. 17-year-old Markel Sweeting and 16-year-old Brandon Cooper were arrested and charged with first-degree robbery and first-degree assault. The shooting happened in the 5800 block of East Shirley Lane Saturday night around 9:30. The victim, a 46-year-old man, suffered multiple gunshot wounds and is in critical but stable condition at Baptist South Hospital. The suspects also being charged for previous robberies. Both are in jail on bonds. Now, an update to the breaking news we brought you on CBS 8 News Weekend at 5:30. Montgomery police are investigating a one-car accident that left one person dead. Police say the vehicle left the roadway and, as you can see in this video, struck a utility pole. It happened at the intersection of Jeff Davis and Rosa Parks Avenues. The driver, Johnny Folk of Montgomery, and his passenger, 50-year-old Sarah Lynn Lewis, were taken to the hospital. Lewis was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. This is the 8th traffic fatality of the year. The intersection of Jeff Davis and Rosa Parks, it was closed after the accident, but it has since reopened. Defense attorneys in Alabama's second gambling corruption trial are saying much less to news media outside the courthouse than they did during the first trial. The reason, federal prosecutors asked the judge to issue a gag order. Now, the judge hasn't ruled on that, but the possibility of a ruling has caused defense attorneys to be much more careful about public comments. Some defense attorneys criticized the prosecution's case and witnesses in daily media briefings during the first trial last summer. Normally outspoken defense attorney Jim Parkman told reporters that it, quote, it hurts to keep his mouth closed each day. Well, a nice, calm weekend. The weekend is over now. Got to get back to work, so let's check in now with CBS 8 First Alert meteorologist Micah Harris for a look at the weather. Micah? Still to come, Jeremy Johnson is a top football recruit, but the 18 Stu McCann will tell us why football is not the only factor in his college choice. That's coming up a little bit later. But first, Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum campaigning for votes in Michigan. See how they're preparing for Tuesday's primary next. You're watching CBS 8 News Weekend at 10. And there we go. There's our winner. A parent is over there urging the little baby to crawl to the other side. And that little baby right there just won a $1,000 prize.
And he has no clue.
But it's not for the money. It's love of the game. For once, we can finally say the athletes are doing it just for their love of crawling, their love of racing. It's not driven by money whatsoever,
that is
the
so
fame
true.
Or anything.
But you can imagine the parents have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, how's our wake-up weather? Okay, and you've got your severe weather special coming up this week, too.
Yes, we do, absolutely.
Which you guys have worked on for a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Thursday night at 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
That's a part of someone's family.
It's a tough time right now for the owner of a pit bull shot and killed by a Montgomery police officer. She was hesitant to put her face on camera, but told us her story.
Someone called me and told me that my dog was shot.
Montgomery police say a sanitation worker was making his morning rounds on Raintree Drive when two pit bulls loose in the neighborhood attacked him.
And those same two pit bulls were the ones that also attacked the MPD officer when he got out to assist. So as a result, the MPD officer did fire 2 rounds and one of the dogs was struck and ultimately died from those injuries.
The dog owner is devastated over the loss of her family dog, but what happened next is what's troubling her most. One of our own CBS 8 photographers actually witnessed the dog being placed in the back of the truck. He described what he saw. When he arrived, one of the garbage men was carrying the dog from where he was shot all the way over here to the sidewalk where the garbage truck was parked and placed the dog in the back of the truck.
And then they wouldn't allow me to get my dog out of the garbage truck. They told me I couldn't.
Police say it's the city's responsibility to dispose of dead animals in the public right-of-way, but the owner says that doesn't add up.
Where he was shot, where the dog's body was, it doesn't make any sense. He was shot at the top of the driveway by the house.
Still so many questions she wants answered. She can't get her dog back, but she at least wants to understand why. Jamie, you'd love to say that money isn't a factor when it comes to the one that you love, but in past several years, a tough economy has definitely made that more difficult. But fortunately for retailers and restaurants this year, the buying is back. The orders are coming in.
Al's Flowers.
And stacking up. Al's Florist in Montgomery is seeing a boost of business this year.
And today, we're sold out of roses.
Love prevailing in a tough economy.
Everybody bumped their orders up just a little this year, but people had cut back 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm seeing that people are spending the money on the roses. They want flowers delivered. They don't want to come pick them up. They want to have that personal service.
And he says the orders will continue coming in even on V-Day. It's not just flowers, though. Marguerite's is seeing some shiny new business this year. Lyle Field says jewelry sales already up over last year.
More diamonds than I remember in the past. I mean, I don't know what's in the air, but we've been selling more diamonds than normal.
The National Retail Federation says that the average person will spend $126 on Valentine's Day, but guys kind of get most of the burden there. They'll spend more than women, $169 compared to a woman. She'll spend about $86. Doesn't seem too bad though, right, Jeff? Most people with history in Montgomery know that Normandale was the place to shop in town, but in the last few decades, stores have moved out and vandals continue to do damage. Lately, as soon as the shop owners fix it up, it struck again.
It was the experience of a lifetime. When people say, oh, we're going to Normandale, oh man, they're right.
Thomas Smith remembers coming to Normandale Shopping Center in its heyday.
This was the place to shop.
But shops began moving away, and the mall that was once the showcase of Montgomery shopping started going downhill. But now, vandals are showing no mercy, continuously spray painting graffiti, breaking windows. They're stealing copper and hijacking AC units.
We have to fix things up, keep things going, and it's kind of rough.
Behind this freshly shattered store window was once one of the most prominent stores in town, Loveman's. It was the first department store in Alabama with an escalator.
Saturdays were a special day. We throw all the kids in the car, lots of kids, and just go shopping and have a good time.
The children's clothing boutique Name Dropper used to be at Normandale. Laura Thornton used to shop there as a little girl.
That's where you went to get your Sunday clothes, your Easter clothes. That's where you went to see everybody.
Now she works at the store, and it's moved to Eastchase.
I think it's very sad because just like Montgomery Mall, Normandale is just a wreck.
But in spite of the mischief, Thomas says he's here to stay. His customers rely on him, and even though it'll take quite a bit of work, he holds on to the hope that Normandale could return to its former glory.
And I believe it's going to come back, though. I really do believe that.
Has to be repaired at the expense of the owners and the shopping center manager. They say that the city has helped out some. Well, thanks so much for joining us for CBS 8 News Weekend at 10 o'clock. We'll be right back here tomorrow, and Tanika and Marcy will be in the morning show.
And,
you?
Yep.